Well, good afternoon. Not at the allotment, as you can see, doing another little bit of inventing in the kitchen. Today I'm going to make fermented mustard. I've never made it before, but I think it's going to be pretty delicious. If you haven't had fermented foods before, they're supposed to be very good for you, excellent for your gut, helps you to absorb all the nutrition in the food that has been fermented, and introduces all kinds of good bacteria into your gut, which is all fabulous, and it tastes good as well. I've made quite a bit of fermented food before. I've done sauerkraut, not my favourite thing, but sometimes you make a good batch. I've just made some spectacular chilli sauce. That's it there. I'll show you close up in a minute. That's been a great success. I've just got a big jar and put a whole pile of red and green chilies in. I don't know what type they were. Onions and garlic, raw ginger, and I had some already preserved lemons and I put them in. I think that's what's done it. And then after several, well, I think about 3 weeks, I pureed it all down. It's fabulous. I just thought I'd show you that as a by the by. I do ferment lemons. They are a really key part of, I think it's Moroccan cooking. And I've got a lovely recipe with these fermented lemons and olives with chicken. It's really nice. Anyway, today I'm doing fermented mustard. So what I've got is black mustard seeds and yellow mustard seeds. I couldn't find these in the supermarket, which I was quite surprised at because I think I bought them there before. I've got some salt. It cannot be iodized salt. It needs to be just, I've got Himalayan pink salt. All the rage these days, don't you know, the pink Himalayan salt. It hasn't got to have iodine in it anyway. I've got some turmeric. I've got some honey. I've got some apple cider vinegar, and I have got, this is actually the liquid that came off my fermented chilies. I didn't put all the liquid in when I liquidized them. If you wanted to make this and you didn't have this liquid, you could use some brine left over from a sauerkraut, or just nothing at all, just add water. But I'm going to use that because it's got loads of flavour and a little bit of bite, garlic and what have you. I've got a recipe here off the internet. I'm not following it exactly because I don't have what they've got and I've got other things. But I'll just mix and match and it'll be fine. And all I'm going to do is pop all my ingredients into this bowl, and then I'm going to take half out and I'm going to puree half, put them all back together and pop them in a jar and leave them. The recipe says just for a couple of days. I don't think that seems very long. Normally I would leave something to ferment for weeks rather than days. So I'm just going to do it and then see how I feel. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to use is I've got 100 grams of brown mustard seeds and 100 grams of yellow mustard seeds. They are going to go into this pot now. Alright, next I'm going to need 2 teaspoons of salt. If I can ever get it open. And a teaspoon of turmeric. Well, it's about a teaspoon, it's just coming out all over the place. And after that I'm going to put in honey. The recipe that I'm looking at on the internet calls for maple syrup, which I don't have. Honey, it'll make it like a honey mustard, which I quite like, that sweet and spicy flavour. You don't have to put this in if you don't want it. Actually, is it 2 tablespoons? I'm doubling this up. It says 4. Oh, I'm just going to put 2 in. I think 2 seems like enough. Hope this is bright enough for you. We just seem to have lost the power. Kenny's installing a security light outside and the power's gone off. So I think this is all right though. Next, I've got 100 mils of water, putting that in. Oh, actually, do you know what it is? Does anybody else do this? If you double up a recipe or half it, you end up only doing it with half the ingredients. Let me just check here. Yeah, that's right. 100 mils of water. And then I want 150 mils of apple cider vinegar. Don't be misled, this isn't a gin bottle, but it is apple cider vinegar in fact. In that goes. And finally we want 100 mils, well it says sauerkraut brine on the recipe that I'm reading from, but as I say, I am using this liquid of my fermented chilies. Ooh, it's got a strong smell, garlic and spices. And that's all of the ingredients. I'm just going to stir that up. Okay, I've moved across to the other part of the kitchen. I've poured this now into a jug just because I wanted to see what volume I had. Because I'm going to put half into the blender to blend it up. You could do whatever you wanted. If you wanted your mustard to stay completely grainy, like a whole grain mustard, you probably wouldn't need to blend any. If you want it completely smooth, obviously you're going to blend it all. I thought I would do half and half because I quite like a few of the grains. So I'm going to put half of this into there, so that'll be like half a pint. I'm going to be careful because it's got turmeric in. I don't want to get it on my top. I'll use a ladle. Right, I'm popping it on here. I'm just going to switch it off while I blend this because the noise is absolutely horrendous with this machine. That's it, pureed. And I'm just going to add them both together, the liquid, the pureed one and the unpureed one. So then you've got a bit of both. Ooh, it's really pungent. Do you dare me to taste a bit now? I think I'll try some. Oh. Yeah, just tastes like mustard, as you'd expect. So I'm going to jar that up now and we'll get it fermenting and see how the flavour develops. That was what we got out of it, two little jars of mustard. I am a little bit confused about this fermenting because usually you need a layer of briny liquid on the top to stop bacteria infecting, bad bacteria infecting your ferments. This doesn't have that, it's just like the fermented mustard paste. Anyway, nonetheless, I'll give it a try and see what happens, and I'll get back to you with the taste of it at some other point. That's my little job for today. I've got one other thing I want to get done today and I'll tell you about that next. So I've just taken a run up to the allotment to collect these. I've had my eye on them for quite a while and I haven't been able to bring myself to pick them because they're so pretty just as they are on the ground. However, they're marigolds, as I'm sure you know, also called calendula. calendula is very good. It's got very good anti-inflammatory, antibacterial and antifungal properties. Oh, it's a bit windy. And I've been wanting to make some calendula oil with these for quite some time, but as I say, I haven't been able to bring myself to pick any up to now, but I'm going to do it today, and then I'll take it back down the road and show you how to do that. Extremely simple, I'm sure. So there we are. This is what I've picked. Certainly haven't picked them all by any means. It was all I could bring myself to pick really, but I'm pretty sure that should be enough for my purposes, for what I'm going to use it for. We'll head back down to the house now and start making some more inventions. Righty-ho, we'll get on. This is my marigold petals. These are some jars, and this is some oil. This is just cold pressed rapeseed oil. You could use olive oil or you could use sunflower oil. Now, I haven't said why I'm doing this. The reason I'm doing it is because I want the calendula, I want these calendula petals to infuse into the oil that I'm going to pour on top of them, and then I'm going to use it in a balm that I make. Oh, I should have brought some of that to show you. I'll maybe go and get some and show you. I started to make my own balm for hands or for any dry skin. My son suffers from eczema, and I thought I wanted to make something natural, because if you go to the doctors, all they give you is a steroid cream, which, you know, it's not really very nice to have on your skin all the time. So I started to make my own balm, which was just made very simply out of beeswax and olive oil. But I wanted to get some of this calendula infused oil, because, as I say, it is antifungal, antibacterial, and what was the other anti something or other, all good stuff anyway. So that's what I'm doing now. Even though my son's left home and he probably wouldn't have the cream anyway. I've just been wanting to do this for a long time. So just packing them into there. I think I might need another one, another little jar. And then you just pour the oil on the top. And you leave it, I think, for quite a long time. I'm going to probably leave this for a few months to infuse. You want to cover the petals completely, because if you don't, there's a chance you're going to get mould and rot in there. The oil on top of them will preserve it beautifully. So I'm just going to pop those underneath the oil. Get any air bubbles out. It's as simple as that. Lid on. That will go in the back of a dog cupboard. This is an example of the hand balm that I've made. That's it there. It's quite hard. You just put it on like that. As I say, that's made out of beeswax and olive oil. I think that one's made out of. So I've ended up with 3 jars of calendula petals infusing in oil, which I will use probably in about 6 months, is what I think, to make hand balm, which is going to make it a nice soothing hand balm if you've got any kind of sore skin or dry skin. Certainly as a gardener, in 6 months' time, so I'll probably be wanting some to soothe your hands when they get all chapped and that with working in the garden. Looks quite pretty as well, doesn't it? All right, I hope you have enjoyed coming along with me while I've potted on making experiments in the kitchen today. I'm like Caractacus Potts, if anybody can remember that. Righty ho, we'll catch you on the next one. See you later, bye.